Good to see you. I'll speak in Korean for the discussion session. I'm Professor Jung Se-young from Bundang-seoul National University Hospital Information Lab. And I'm not sure if you saw this on news, and NHS usually recently authorized this treatment. And it says that you need 2.8 billion Korean won for this single treatment. And the story delivered a story about son, a child and his or her father. Since it's a rare disease, not many people can benefit from this. But if you actually become a child of someone or a parent of someone, then you are in a dire need to get this treatment. And when I saw this presentation, how you're going to reduce this cost of 2.8 billion won, and if you use two different platforms, from identifying the target and producing protein. So in terms of rare disease treatment, probably there will be an innovative achievement. So we will begin the discussion in that regards. Thank you, CEO, for your presentation. You just informed a couple of candidates, and your two platforms, Target and Discover Protein. And your two platforms in terms of developing rare diseases, in what actual circumstances can your platforms can be used, and how are they going to reduce costs significantly?
Yeah, so let me answer you. We have two different stories related to rare disease treatment, and one would be Ask, not the STEM Ask, but repositioning AI technology that has been pursued since a few years ago, and one of them is mitochondrial abnormality diseases, and we also have another tuberculosis project. And we also have another project with KIST that covers autism. So our focus in such projects would be that we do not target one single disease. We would like to go all the way to the root cause of different diseases. That is our approach. And as a result, that is why we are covering a number of projects. And as you mentioned, Stand Time Ask, this has been going on for a few years so far, but in order for this to be used commercially, we weren't quite ready. But after going through some of the experiments, the results are positive. And as I mentioned earlier during my presentation, just because it's a rare disease, I think, like, let's say another disease has a bigger patient group, or if it's better known biologically, or if it's less known. In the case of AI, artificial intelligence, there's no root difference. Like going or finding, identifying subgroup of a disease is the thing. So let's say we're utilizing substandard mechanism that we have, and I think Standard Mask has a really great point because I told you it's a graph database type, and it's related to that point. Whether it's a genetic level or phenotype level, database integration is available, and as a result, inference is available. And if you put in that data, if you feed that data, and based on certain mechanisms, you might see that certain disease is a rare disease, and you can detect that. And from cost perspective, eventually, it could be the issue of data, or maybe it could be a failure because of. It could be there could be many different failures. The reason why it's not happening is because based on cost and time and energy and effort, ROI is not enough. The amount of money that you can generate is limited. That is why companies do not want to take that risk or take on that adventure. But even before that stage, from biologic stage, if you can get hints and clues, then the later part could be used for gathering forces and serves as a ground. So maybe we will talk about it later. But if you think about mitochondrial project that we're carrying on, it is based in the U.S. And in the U.S. there is a patient group with mitochondrial patient communities. I'm invited there. I also make speeches there, and these patient group collects this data, and then they suggest a demand, and then they say, "Oh, please do research on this area because we would like to know this area." There's definitely a demand. Yes, true. Because it's a rare disease, I think, as you mentioned, patient groups, there is organizations or entities with patients, and there are researchers who would like to overcome their diseases, and their voices have to be delivered to the government and private companies in order for them to respond to those diseases. But you are engaging in many challenging projects and identifying rare diseases and finding candidates. Even after all these process, if you think about what is happening in Korea, you have to have about 2.8 billion won. Do you think the Kerry is going to approve this expensive R&D project? So I think if you're working for a rare disease, let's say it's launched in Korea and expected ROI is relatively low, and that is a big risk for your company. So do you have any strategy in order to tackle these different risks?
Well, we by ourselves, we do have our own strategies and other companies' case studies. But to begin, um, I would like to clarify that my company is not a rare disease company, a related company, but we do have relevant information. But in terms of medicine costs, there are unavoidable issues where the drug costs significantly increase. And in order to decrease that, there are some fast track um, ways, but I personally think it is all R&D costs. And if one single company just does decrease it just for public reasons and just for research issues, that is not probable. So there needs some kind of fund, either it be government funds or Bill Gates Foundation's support, among other kinds of public aid support, or Pasteur Institute, or other pure science research support. But my company itself, it is also engaging it, but there is a company called Helix. That company based on AI technology. It works on depositioning of airborne